November TBR with all of you. I know I'm about a week late. A lot has been happening here in the United States, so I haven't really had a whole lot of time to carve out time to sit here and record a video and then edit it and upload it. But Sandy and I did record our October wrap up, which is already uploaded to our YouTube channel. Thank you, Sandy, for doing that. So please check that out if you have not done so already. Okay, so I'm going to jump right in. Um, because we're already about a week into November, I have started reading some of these books. I have about 8 books on my TBR, which is very ambitious for me. I normally get to about 5, 6 books a month, and I added some more this month. In my mind, I was thinking, well, I have Thanksgiving break, and I'll be able to read then and make up for what I don't get to read, during the day when I'm at work. So I'm going to jump right in. The first book that I'm going to share with all of you is The Tourist Attraction. Oh, that's really bright. I don't know if you could see that. Well, The Tourist Attraction. I did get the second book on NetGalley. I think it's called Mr. Right and Mistletoe, which I plan on reading in December. So I wanted to read this one first before I got around to that one. I'm currently on page 161. Um, the chapters are really, really long, and if you know me as a reader, I'm going to be totally honest, I'm not a fan of really long chapters, but the story is excellent so far. I really enjoy the characters. One of the main characters, Graham, in this story, owns a restaurant in Alaska. And he reminds me, the first few pages, he reminds me of Luke from the Gilmore Girls. And if you know me, I love the Gilmore Girls. Now that I've gotten to know him as a character a little bit more, I don't get that same vibe as much. But very cute, like dynamic between Graham and Zoe, the other main character in the story. So check this out if you have not done so already. The other one I'm going to share is Save the Cat Writes a Novel. So the author of this book, Jessica Brody, goes through these 15 beats. That's what she refers to them as 15 beats that every great story has. And that transcribes to movies, TV shows, books, plays. And it basically goes through and helps you map out how to write this fantastic novel, this fantastic story. And if you know me in real life and we've ever had like a heart to heart and we talk about our deepest desires or dreams, you would know that I would love to write a book one day. Again, I don't know that that will happen, but a girl can dream. This is a book that I plan on reading throughout the month of November. I don't have like a dead set date that I want to finish it by. I spend a lot of time reading, taking notes, processing, highlighting, underlining. There's notes all in the margins here. So if you're looking to write your own book, this is written in a way, it's not super scientific, it's not difficult to read. It's a quick read. I'm currently on page 40. And like I said, I hope to finish this by the end of the month. The other book I'm currently reading, I never read 3 books at a time. Let me just state that. If I never read 3 books at a time, normally it's like 2. It's always like an audiobook I'm listening to when I'm driving in the car and a physical book that I'm reading, whether it's in print or as an ebook. I never read 3 books at a time. So this is very different for me. I think I was looking to distract myself as much as possible the first week of November. So I did that by choosing these 3 books. Anxious People was my book of the month selection last month, I believe, and many people had recommended it. I did read Beartown by Frederick Bachman a while ago as a book club with friends that I work with. And I liked it, but I liked it from like page 200 on. The first half of the book was kind of dragged on for me. It really wasn't my thing. This one, from the very, very beginning, pulled me right in. And it has that perfect balance of like, um, I don't know, comedic relief. I definitely have laughed out loud as I'm reading this book. The book is also available as audiobook on Scribd. So when I'm like laying in bed falling asleep at night, I put my earbuds in and I listen as I read, and that definitely helps because I fall asleep because I'm tired every day. Please pick this up and please read it. It's, like I said, perfect balance of like comedic relief, makes you want to laugh out loud, to these like really deep quote worthy lines that I find myself underlining. And not just, I feel like anybody could relate to them, whether you're a parent, a friend, a son or a daughter, like, I don't know, it's just an excellent, excellent book. I don't want to like, talk too much about it, but I feel like this might be one of my top reads of 2020, and I'm not even done yet. I'm on page, hold on, 210. Okay. So, like I said, I never read 3 books at a time, but for this month, I don't know what happened to my brain. I just did it. The other book that I'm going to be reading as a buddy read with Sandy is Open Book by Jessica Simpson. It's funny, like, I remember when I was much younger, I'd watch Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey's show on MTV. And when you see her, she was very like bubbly and, the world didn't bother her and life was perfect. And as I've gotten older and I read more about her childhood and her background and her upbringing and her years when she was first being discovered as a musical artist, that was not the case at all. She had a traumatizing childhood, and um, I know that I'll be reading more about that in this book. So I definitely look forward to reading this with Sandy. Um, I don't know. It definitely is a longer book. How many pages? It's about 400 pages. Um, but I feel like this will give me a lot of insight into her life. And I did want to read some nonfiction because the month of October I didn't. I read mostly thrillers and mystery and suspense and that kind of stuff. I did listen to the Jet Setters actually on Scribd, and that was like my light cozy read. But I read that throughout the whole month because I only listened to it when I was like driving in the car, and I don't really go anywhere except work. Um, so yes, I look forward to reading this with Sandy. You can find her on Instagram, Living the Librarian Life, and I will add her username below. The next one I'm going to, well, I plan on reading is Everything, Everything. This glare is terrible. I'm so sorry. Jeez. Everything, Everything, which one coworker recommended to me. It's a young adult book. The main character has some kind of disease that is very, very rare, which I know is probably going to wreck me and destroy my heart and my soul. But you know what? That's what I do. I torture myself. So I plan on reading this. All good reviews on Goodreads that I found, and I've seen it on Instagram. Many people have recommended this book, so I definitely look forward to reading to this. Another book that another coworker recommended is The Handmaid's Tale. Definitely not a light, fluffy, cozy read, but I've been wanting to read this for a while. And the one coworker that I spoke to, she was like, "You need to read it. She sold it. Like, I don't have to go into detail. She just sold it." My plan is then to start The Handmaid's Tale and watch that with Tim, but I don't want to start watching the show before I finish the book. So that's my plan. Next, I have By the Book, which I also received from Sandy. This book actually came up on a list. There was a list that came across my feed one day, and it was like 20 books to read if you absolutely love the Gilmore Girls. And I love the Gilmore Girls, and this was one of them. So I knew that I wanted to read this book. Like I said, looking at my pile that's sitting right in front of me, I don't know that I will get to it, but I am going to try my hardest. And if I don't get to it in November, then I'm just going to push it to December. No big deal. I'm not going to stress. But the fact that it did make connections and comparisons to the Gilmore Girls, I was like, oh yeah, I need to read this. The last book, this is the last one. The last book that I have selected is The Wedding Party. I have read all of but two, I think, of Jasmine G's books. The only ones I have not read is this one, The Wedding Party, and her new one, Party of Two, which I think has like a blue cover. But I've read all of the other ones. If you love characters that have depth and personalities and you're like rooting for them, I pick up pretty much any one of her books. I promise you, she has a ton. And what I like about her books is that the characters show up in the other books. So if you've read, say, The Proposal, right? The characters in that book then show up in another one. I can't think of it because I read them so long ago. But you never finish a book and then wonder, oh, I wonder what happens to them as a couple. I wonder what happens to them as a family. You always get to see them appear in her books. So definitely recommend. She is definitely one of my favorite authors, like by far one of my favorite ones. I adore her. That is my November TBR. The only other thing that I was going to share was my little bullet journal here that this is how I pretty much like plan my reading. And this is my reading for November. Oh, you really can't see it. I'm so, okay, here we go. I normally plan my reading using the Angie way. If you find the hashtag on Instagram, you can see what that's all about. I decided not to do that this month just because Anxious People I've been listening to as well as reading it, but I've been listening to it on audio. And I feel like there was another one that I was going to listen to on audio. There might be one other one, but I can't remember. So it was kind of hard for me to keep track in my bullet journal when I know that I'm going to be listening to it during my lunch break at work or while I'm driving in my car. And so I didn't want to set like a certain number of pages I had to read daily. I just kind of listed the books that I'm going to be reading. And then underneath, I'm just going to rate them stars 1 to 5, and then they'll get a rating at the once I'm done with the book. So that's my plan. The stickers were designed by one of my very good friends, her daughter, Ari, who I will also add below in the comments. You can find her Instagram page. It's AJW Designs, I believe, but if I have that wrong, I'm so sorry. Like I said, I will put it below. She created these stickers for me, and I am in love with them. So I knew that they had to go on my bullet journal because they're just beautiful. So thank you, Ari, for doing that. All right, everyone. Please stay well. Please stay healthy. Please stay safe. Um, do something that makes your soul happy because there's a lot going on in the world. But I have such hope that things will be getting better. I hope. I hope. Stay well. Bye, everyone.